Hello, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles Long. With me, as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob MFing Gloth. MF stands for Milton Funkerton.
Farmer.
Milton Farmer.
Milton Farmer, yep.
Yeah. How are you doing, Jake? Been a week?
I am swell. A day, I guess.
No, it's been a week.
Yeah.
It's been a week since we last spoke.
Yep.
You've been hard
That's why we have so much to talk about beforehand.
Talking about that Chelsea game that you watched last week.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, if it really had been a week, then I'd be able to talk about the Arsenal game, which is on in an hour or 2 hours.
You know how I knew it was a
exciting.
Chelsea game?
Because I told you.
No, you didn't tell me. I was in a bar, and they were playing, then the Chelsea game was playing on the TV, and you texted me and said, I'm watching soccer. And I was like, oh, okay. That's what you're watching. Okay.
Yeah, I was watching that game. It was a good game. Very good.
Last time I saw it, it was 1-1. So I was like, this is...
Well, Chelsea lost 3-1, which is what we wanted.
Yeah, fuck Chelsea. That's what I say.
Yep.
And have always said.
Well... anyways, unrelated to sports, we have a podcast idea.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Pilot idea, TV show idea, not a podcast idea. This is the podcast.
I hope so.
You've been talking about this one for a while now. I'm really excited to see what your idea is.
Ooh.
What is it, Charlie?
Yeah, it is. I was talking about this yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. Not to you, but to myself and to the walls that have ears. Or so I'm told by popular culture. My idea is about a comb and a toothbrush, and they gain sentience in a world that is not their own, and then they have to journey across.
I'm gonna stop you right there. That's a pretty trash idea.
No.
If you want, instead, I will give my idea, which I happen to have in front of me.
Thank you.
Right now.
I was, to be honest with
I'll
you,
save
I was a little worried about how good my idea was.
Oh, that's good, because I'm also a little worried about how good my idea is, but at least I have more written down.
Yeah, exactly.
At least I have something written down.
Something written down. That's better than nothing.
The show is called the Gourmet Resort and Casino.
The Gourmet.
Not super sold on the name, super long, so if you come up with something better, I might, take that instead.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
So where is this set? It's modern day on an island resort.
Oh.
Got some fun characters here. We got Gustavo Gonzale. So he's a quiet man, keeps to himself, seemingly quite shy.
Played by Giancarlo Esposito.
Sure. I'm having trouble remembering who that is. Who is
That
Giancarlo
is
Esposito?
Gustavo Fring. We're doing a lot of there's a lot of Breaking
yeah,
Bad
he could play.
stuff
he could
going
play
on these last two episodes.
I have this guy as his mid-30s, but I feel like maybe, he could be a little older.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
It's fun.
So this is a very, he says he works in publishing, mid-30s, very tired kind of man.
Mm-hmm.
Just looks like one of those people that always looks tired.
Yeah, like you.
Also very, ashamed is not maybe not. He's the kind of guy that keeps his shirt on at the pool. He sits at the pool.
Okay, he's a prude.
He doesn't go in the water. Keeps his shirt on. Well, he's he's not in the best shape.
Yeah.
He's not, and he knows he's kind of old, late 30s. He's not proud of how he's aged as well.
Oh, that's not good. He spent his youth partying. He should have been eating kale and doing CrossFit, but he decided not to. He was gonna eat.
It's not even
CrossFit.
necessarily partying. He just didn't really take care of himself too well.
Yeah. Not like either of us can relate.
Speaking of taking care of yourself, next we have Aya Suzuki, mid-20s Para-Olympian.
Ooh.
She's a long jumper. Very bright and competitive. A little bit violent, has an explosive temper.
What's her pair? She's not an Olympian. Is she
missing a
blind?
leg.
Oh, she's
missing a leg.
She's missing a leg, but she's a long jumper. That's
so she's got like the running leg, with the,
with that
the metal
what's that
metal
called?
hook thing.
The blade.
The blade.
They call it a blade.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Next, we've got Miriam Walker. Miriam Walker is an affluent businesswoman, late 40s, hates everyone and everything. Nothing is ever right, and feels like she constantly has to prove herself.
Mm-hmm.
We have her husband as well, Greg Walker, mid-40s, very chill and relaxed. Nothing seems to bother him. We have Jane Roan, early 20s, fitness influencer.
Oh, she's got an Instagram. She's posting pictures of her bum on it all day long.
She films everything. She's kind of insufferable because of that, and very attractive. But she's afraid of being alone. She's just terrified that no one's around.
I'm gonna guess that this is some sort of a murder mystery, and her tendency to film everything is gonna come back in a big way as a clue or something. They're gonna see it on a live, and they're gonna see the murderer. That's my guess.
Oh, maybe. Next, we have Sean Bean. This is actual Sean Bean.
The actual actor Sean Bean is playing himself.
We need Sean Bean to play himself in this. Because we're having real Sean Bean as one of the characters.
That's good. I like that. I love that in movies when actors play themselves.
And they're just in it.
Yeah.
Then we have Aaron Serrano, mid-20s. He's like a street smart kid, drug dealer. He's kind of like Jesse in Breaking Bad. So a lot of Breaking Bad references.
Yeah, we love Breaking Bad, a show I've never watched.
I've seen it multiple times.
I've only watched...
so I can make up for your lack of knowledge.
Yeah, I've seen clips of it. I know what happens in it.
Okay, Brock Connors is next. Late 20s, buff. Very metal, has an axe in his guitar.
Oh.
He's a famous rock star. Not like super famous, like coming up kind of famous, like,
he's Ed Sheeran 10 years ago.
Ed Sheeran is okay. I think you say right now, like he's
right now. He's not that famous.
Well, he's not like that kind of guy. Like this guy shreds on his guitar. He's like very like somewhere in between rock and metal. You know,
he's probably not really insufferable.
One or the other.
About music?
No, he's really cool.
Oh, okay.
Is what I was going for. This is a really cool guy. I was going for like design-wise. He kind of looks like the guy in the new Spider-Verse movie. What's his name?
Spider-Punk Huggy?
Spider-Punk. Yeah. I don't remember his name. Started with an H.
It's Hoagie.
Anyway. So like, very, very punkish. Next we have Hannah Emerson. A lot of names here.
There were a lot of names. Hobart.
Still going here. Hannah. So Hannah is a bookworm, mid-20s. She's like a Hermione type, she like really likes reading and keeps to herself, kind of shy. Next we have Mr. Dillon, very poised hotel manager, kind of like Ralph Fiennes in Grand Budapest Hotel. He's in his 40s. Almost done here. We've got two more characters. Chef Brian Cook. He's the very precise and talented chef, early 50s. Food is very important to him, very calm. So he's like, the very precise chef type. And it is very, specific about how food needs to be prepared. Everything.
Okay.
Anyway, head of activities, Tilly Way. She's a very smiley, peppy type. She's the activities head. Very excited about everything. Early 30s.
Okay.
So we got a lot of characters there.
A lot of people. Probably at least one's going to get murdered.
Maybe a few. The pilot, episode 1, Gustavo, Gus we'll call him for short, leans on the edge of the ship vomiting in the water. Great intro, just a dude vomiting right into the water. We could stare at the water in the beginning.
Maybe we have like a
shot. First shot.
We have a shot of him like staring at like the back of his head, staring out at the open ocean, and you think it's this really nice meditative shot. It's at sunset, and then just as like the camera begins to zoom in, he just chucks up his lunch. And everybody's like, oh, yuck. And the whole rest of the cast is just like looking at him from off camera and being like, ugh, yucky.
Oh, we'll get that in a second here. So he wipes the remnants from his mouth and he goes inside to the ship bar/lounge where Jane Roan is horrified. And she tells him that he messed up her shot and now she has to go redo her vlog. Very upset because this dude vomited. A little seasick if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
They're on a boat right now, as we can see. He goes to the bar, and Brian Cook is the bartender, the chef. He serves him the most precise rum and coke he's ever had. Dude's got, very, scientific instruments to perfectly measure out the exact quantities of rum and coke. And the coke is, freshly made.
Yeah.
Like, he's making it right there.
He bribed one of the people who works at Coca-Cola to give him the proprietary recipe. And he...
Yeah, or it's like a house-made recipe.
Oh, fancy. And he's got special ice cubes that melt at exactly this temperature and, are kept right here.
They're perfectly cubed and clear as well. There's no cracks in the ice. At the counter, he's puzzled to see Sean Bean. Sean Bean's at the counter. And he's like, oh, wait, are you Sean Bean? He's like, yeah, I'm Sean Bean. I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah, of course I'm Sean Bean.
They start talking, and Sean explains that he needed a vacation. And he got invited to this thing, and he thought it'd be a nice change. And he's like, yeah, I came here. It's a cool island resort. I heard the Gourmet was going to be the next best resort. I heard we get we're gonna get like our own sort of there's like a separate sort of VIP resort, and he's kind of surprised the rest of these people are coming to the VIP resort because he doesn't recognize any of them besides the fitness influencer.
My daughter's a huge fan.
They're probably a fun crowd, and he's like, I'm excited to go.
Yeah. All right, and Sean Bean is he like standard Hollywood like douchebag? Is he playing a caricature version of himself, and he's just like, ugh?
No, he's just a chill dude. He's just a chill
He's
guy.
like real life Sean Bean. He's just a nice guy.
Sean Bean, probably. He's probably a nice guy. I don't actually know. Sean Bean could be a dick.
He could be.
But he's probably not.
Probably not. He seems like one of those guys who's maintained a certain level of like sanity. He's still Hollywood crazy. Like if he says Diet Coke, someone will bring him a Diet Coke, and so he doesn't want for anything, but he's still like normal enough.
So they chat for a little bit, and cut to Hannah Amerson walking out of her room in the lower decks of the ship, and she bumps into Brock Connors. She's a little flustered. She drops her books. And he helps her pick it up, and he recognizes some of the books. They're talking about literature, and it gets a little flirty. Until Jane Roan comes down and grabs Brock and is like, "Come on,
Brocky poo,
babe, come up. We gotta, film the next vlog and complain about this vomiting guy, and that's good content.
Yeah.
And I could, show the clip in the thing and have a little thumbnail of us." And he leaves with Jane, but as they're walking out, she gets startled by Aya Suzuki, who's training in the hall because she was told not to run on the deck. She runs past them, and Jane, gets, startled by her. It's like,
angry.
Oh my God, get out of the way, crazy! Like, why are you running down the hallway? You're insane. She's kind of right. Why is she running?
Yeah,
down the
stop
hallway?
it. We're on a boat. You ain't got nowhere to be.
And then Aya runs into. Not literally runs into her, but after she's kind of annoyed that Jane yelled at her. And she runs into Hannah, and they're chatting about Jane. Like, wow, what a bitch. Jeez.
God, the worst. Jane is lame. That's their thing. They'll be like, Jane.
Hannah doesn't really add anything to it, but Aya says her little piece because she's annoyed that someone stopped her training, and then she starts running again.
Yeah.
Back on the top deck, Gustavo is at a small table with a notepad, writing the names of all the people he's met and some of the things about him.
Oh.
A little weird.
Very strange. Have you ever done that? Have you ever met a bunch of people and then minutes later sat down and wrote down their little things?
Just that one time we went to that resort.
Oh, yeah. Obviously that time, because Sean Bean was there. It was crazy.
Yeah, Was they not going to write about Sean Bean?
Come on.
So he hides it when Brian Cook comes up and asks if he'd like another drink. And then, he gets another drink, and he shoves it into his bag as Aaron Serrano sits down. Aaron Serrano, the kind of a druggy kid.
Yeah.
Chessy-like. Sits down with him. The kid asks him for a lighter. Very clearly what he wants a lighter for.
Yeah. Some meth.
Which Gustavo doesn't have. But, meanwhile, behind them, Miriam complains loudly about how there's too much light and the chairs aren't straight enough, and her husband, Greg, is idly sipping his drink, but he overhears that Aaron needs a lighter, and Greg offers him a lighter. It seems like it's a very basic Bic lighter.
Yeah.
But then he says, I'll help you. It's a little tricky to use. And Aaron just sort of shrugs his shoulders like, okay, I guess. You want to come?
And he just wants to get out of the room because his wife's being annoying. Presumably.
Yeah. So he gets out. Over the intercom, they're told the resort is coming to view, and they match cut to Hannah and Aya coming up the steps, and they see the resort. It's a very big, island resort. Looks super nice. red tiled roofs and everything.
Very nice. Very classical.
They arrive at the
Spanish style patios and such. Very cool.
Very nice resort.
Yeah.
They arrive at the resorts. They, get on shore. Everyone disembarks. They have a bit of an orientation with the very poised and elegant Mr. Dillon. He introduces them to the staff, Cook and Way, the chef and the activities manager.
Yeah.
And they all go about enjoying the incredible resort full of, the main house that they have, like this big sort of second resort house. So they have like the main hotel, and there's this sort of second hotel, which is just for the VIPs, which they are. They have that, and that's sort of exclusive to them. But when they go about the main resort, there's other people there. A lot of wealthy patrons who seem to be looking at them.
Ooh.
And Mr. Dillon explains that they're jealous because they're allowed in the private house.
Maybe we could see somebody...
It's opening weekend.
Because I'm thinking this will be like a kind of an opportunity for goofs, for jokes, right? We could see like a huge, like 6'4" guy, bald, with like Aztec tattoos on one shoulder, lifting weights, and then Sean Bean waves at him and whispers over to Gus, "This guy's so jealous right now. He wants to come to the VIP resort so bad. He's even got his own app, but he can't get in the VIP." And it's very obviously The Rock, but, we can't get The Rock. You kidding me? The Rock's too busy having movies that bomb.
Damn. I think all of his movies did well.
No, 70%. I learned this like 2 days ago. Apparently 70% of The Rock's movies have failed at the box office. Like, in total, his whole career, 70% of the movies he's in fail. Crazy, man. But back to the show. Back to Sean Bean and Gus being like buddy cops.
Yeah, so Jane starts a tour for her followers. Miriam, of course, complains about her room. Aya's running around the halls when she smells weed and bursts into Aaron's room. He's smoking with Greg.
Yeah.
So Greg has completely abandoned his wife, and he's smoking with Aaron now.
Yeah.
And she joins in Aya. So it's Aya, Aaron, and Greg smoking.
Who is Aya again?
Aya Suzuki. She's the Paralympian.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. We could do a funny gag where she's like, she pops off her fake leg and reveals there's a hidden compartment, and she brought her own weed. And they're both they're both like, "Hey, this is great minds, huh? Light up, bro."
And these are kind of like the cool people, Besides Brock, these are like the chill, cool group.
And did you say Brock and the fitness influencer, they're dating, right?
Yeah. So Brock and Jane Roan. Brock Connors and Jane.
But maybe it's like, maybe it should be I don't know if this plays a pivotal role in the story, but maybe it can be just like a camera only, relationship.
Yeah,
so Brock's
we're getting there. That is the case.
All right, good.
Meanwhile, Sean, that was sort of implied by, she comes down. She's like, "Come on, babe, we got to do this." And he doesn't, really want to leave, but he has to go up to, do the thing with her. Meanwhile, Sean Bean is getting wasted by the pool with Gustavo, who isn't drinking.
Yeah.
So we got absolutely sloshed Sean Bean at the pool, just saying crazy stuff like, "Did you know in Lord of the Rings I had to climb up that mountain every day, for shooting when we were doing the fellowship? I was scared of flying. I had to climb up that mountain every day, hike up. Sucked. I had full Boromir armor I was climbing up.
I had to carry that Elijah Wood kid on my back every day."
So Gustavo interrupts his speech, says he's going to the bathroom, but actually goes into the kitchen and is confronted by Brian Cook, who tells him that dinner is not going to be ready until 7. And he pushes him out, and Gus leaves, but doesn't return to the pool. He walks around the hotel a bit. At one point, Sean Bean comes inside yelling for him, and Gus shuffles into a corridor to hide from him and pulls out a gun that's in his coat as Sean Bean walks by.
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean passes. He puts the gun back away, and he keeps going around, and he finds a locked office door.
Oh.
And walks away. Back, cut to Aaron's room. Aya, Aaron, and Greg are all out of snacks, and they're thinking the same thing. They need dinner. Conveniently, the dinner bell rings, and they're rushed downstairs to the main dining room for a grand meal. They eat happily and thank the cook. It's like the best food they've ever had, the most exquisite, meat and potatoes and whatever else.
Vegetables, fish, probably. They're on an island. It's fresh caught fish and oysters and all sorts of stuff. There's
all sorts of stuff.
Fire.
And Mr. Dillon. they're all thanking Mr. Dillon, saying like, this is the best thing ever. You know, he's like the hotel manager. He's like, oh, it's just gonna get even better. Just wait till Saturday.
Yeah.
So we have like the goodbye party.
Get a whole Wagyu cow, kill it right in front of you. It's gonna be great.
When Dylan refills Gus's drink, Gus bumps into him and the glass spills on the table. And we're like, oh, he's a little clumsy. Okay. After dinner, Hannah runs into Brock again and Brock asks if she wants to get a drink, and they go to the bar and they start chatting. And he's, they're talking about a bunch of different stuff, and he's surprised that a girl like her would come to a place like that, and she's like kind of confused. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, aren't you here for the convention? And she's like, the convention? What are you talking about? He's like, oh my God, you don't know? Oh, this is hilarious. Did you just come here because you thought it was a resort? And she's like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Cut to Gus gets into the locked office. When he spilled that water at the table, he actually swiped the keys.
He picked the pocket of Mr. Dillon. Ah, that's very good. Very sneaky, Gus. Giancarlo Esposito is the only person I'm picturing in this role now. He's just like slinking around, making friends with Sean Bean.
Yeah. So he's looking around the office, shuffling through the desk, when Aaron Serrano suddenly comes in, and he comes in, he's like, Gus is a little surprised, and he's like, he doesn't know how to explain himself, and Aaron's like, oh, are you just coming here trying to get high too? He's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I mean, like, everyone knows this place is like I wanted to wait for the convention, but I can't. I gotta find out where they keep their supply.
Yeah, man.
He's like, you know about the convention? He's like, yeah, I mean, this is big in the drug world. Like, everyone comes here. This is where all the best suppliers and creatives come to,
swap
try
ideas,
out new products, and
make.
This is like a psychedelics convention. He's kind of explaining, like, this is where they come up with, like, the different scientists around the world trying to make new stuff come around, and they showcase their new products, and they let people try it, and this is like a big place for that.
Very exciting.
And Aaron's like, yeah, man, like, I'm just kind of like a small-time dealer. I'm surprised I got an invite to this thing, but I guess I'm in the city. Maybe they're trying to expand their markets. Maybe, this is just sort of a way to get someone that can help advertise, their product, sort of grassroots sort of thing.
Mom and pop drug dealers. That's me, man. I'm just like a small-time entrepreneur. They're looking for some new blood in the drug dealing game. So they don't have enough of that.
And Aaron,
obviously,
he's like, just trying to get some. Aaron's like kind of impressed. He's like to Gus, he's like, you look nothing like a dealer. So I got to say, I'm impressed. I mean, I was surprised about Sean Bean back there. I don't know if he's slinging in Hollywood or like if they're just trying to get some celebrity faces around for the people. But like you look just like the most plain dude I've ever seen in my life. Like, you would not look like a drug dealer.
Yeah, and look at your stomach. You're so out of shape and unhealthy looking. It's a great disguise. He's just like
well, that's
just reinforcing every bad thing he felt about himself on the entire boat ride.
Cut back to Hannah and Brock are having a great time in the bar. And we sort of get a little bit more insight into the fact that it's Brock is like sort of slyly hinting that him and Jane's relationship isn't really a relationship. It's just sort of a camera thing. And that's when Jane shows up again and asks Brock to film a goodnight video. And he agrees, and Hannah is left alone with her drink and a little sad. And that's when a somewhat hungover Sean Bean comes in, sort of stumbling. He's got a headache, not doing great. It's getting dark, and he drank a lot in the morning. And he slumps over at the bar. Sees she's kind of having a rough time, and so he gives her, he read the situation immediately when he walked in, like what she was sad about. Saw Brock leaving, saw him with Jane. He gives her a little bit of heartwarming advice, and she thanks him and says she's gonna go off to bed, and he's like, I'm gonna have another drink, and then I'm gonna go off to the kitchen and see if I can get a snack before bed.
It's me, Sean. I can get whatever I want. I'm Sean Bean. Come on, I was in James Bond.
I was in Lord of the Rings.
I was in Game of Thrones. Whatever. would be.
She leaves. We spent a little bit on Sean Bean. He's just hanging out at the bar, finishing his drink. Stumbles over to the kitchen. Walks into a room of. He walks in. And it's like a room full of plastic sheets on the ground. All over the walls. Like everything's perfectly covered, very meticulously. He's like, this is weird. He walks in, and we hear the scrunch of like the little scrub shoes that people put over their shoes, like the little blue pullover things you put over your shoes to, like, if you're walking in an area like a crime scene or something, to not like get any markers anywhere. We hear the scrunch behind him. As he turns around, before we get any good look of the person, he gets axed in the back of the head.
Oh no, Sean Bean.
Sean Bean is dead.
He's been axed. Someone asked him a question, and the question was, "Stop being alive, Sean Bean." That was the question. Not really. It's more rhetorical.
Question mark at the end. Yeah, it's not yet.
It's not a question at all, but he's dead now.
Would you like to die? Was the question.
Yeah.
The answer was yes.
Mr. Bean.
Episode 2. Hannah wakes up early and goes to the main room for breakfast. Aya Suzuki is already there. She just finished up her training. She's having breakfast after she finished. She's all, sweaty and stuff.
Yeah, egg whites and turkey sausage, and that's it, because she's super healthy. You know how it is.
Yep. Anna confides in her about her situation with Brock, and asks like what she would do, because it's kind of immoral. She's like kind of flirting with a guy that's got a girlfriend, but she kind of seems like they're not really in a relationship. So, like, maybe it's okay. Aya's advice is super unhelpful. It's basically like, yeah, fuck it, who cares? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, bro.
Just sleep with him. And she's like, I don't know about that.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Jane comes down next with Brock. She's asking where Sean Bean is. She just learned who he is from her followers and wants to do a video. As she's talking about this, asking everyone about that, she in the background, Gus passes by. We cut to him. He's snooping again, this time in the storage areas, and we go into a garage, and he turns on the lights, and he finds a shit ton of cocaine, mushrooms, and all these weird psychedelics.
All right.
He pulls out his cell phone, takes a few pictures. As he's taking the photos, we see behind him there is a camera looking down at him.
And it probably zooms in, like...
And so he takes the photos, and he tries to send them to a number, but it won't go through. And he goes back to the main room, and Jane Roan is complaining about the lack of internet connection, how she can't upload her videos from last night. And Mr. Dillon arrives and explains there was a storm, and the cell tower is down, but it will be repaired in a day or two.
I didn't hear any storm.
Okay. There was no storm last night.
Yeah, it was clear.
Oh, it was localized blow, just on the other side of the island.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone goes about their day. Jane records vlogs for uploads. For later uploads, she's like, I'll just, keep recording, and I can't do anything live now, but like, I'll just keep recording, and I'll post it all when I get back, I guess.
Yeah.
Hannah and Brock hang out by the pool. Greg and Miriam go for a massage, and Aaron and Aya explore looking for drugs, because they're like, we gotta find this stash somewhere.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Come on.
For the convention to start. They go to the main part of the resort and find a lot of people looking at them. And the same sort of thing happens for Hannah and Brock, who are at the main pool rather than their like resort specific pool.
Yeah.
Jane is also experiencing this, but she's used to it. She's like, everyone's just looking at me because that's just the way it is.
Yeah, because I'm a fancy influencer. I have an Instagram.
Aaron and Aya think they found the jackpot when they find a flyer for a grand meal for non-VIP guests, and they're like, "This is it. This is like, it's gonna be like some mushroom dinner or something. Like, we gotta go to this." Though it's weird though, because it's, VIP should probably get more privileges. Why is there like a non-VIP dinner?
Yeah.
Very strange. And so, cut to then Hannah and Brock are having a talk about, whatever, like their lives and stuff. And Brock kind of vents about his fake relationship, and the two get a little closer because Hannah's starting to realize that, like, well, if it's not, a real relationship, then I guess it's okay for me to pursue this person, morally. Meanwhile, Gus is going around the island and finds Greg, who can't find his wife. He's like, I just had a couple massage, and she just disappeared afterwards. I don't know where she is, which isn't too bad, but at the same time, I gotta find her before she's, if she rings out some busboy's neck.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
she's gonna kill somebody if I just leave her alone.
Yeah. And they go around exploring. Greg, completely innocent, thinking she's lost, and Gus with a hand on his hidden gun. Brock and Hannah sleep together, which she immediately regrets because he's with Jane and runs off. Just sprints away, and he's like, "No, stop! Don't leave."
Yeah.
Cut back to Gus and Greg. They're searching around, and Greg's like, "Why are you?" Gus is like, "Why are you checking in the kitchen?" He's like, "I don't know. She's probably back here, like yelling at the waiter or something. She probably had like a, some calamari that was not as, good and crispy as she likes, and she's freaking out."
Or it was too crispy.
And so go back there, and they're looking around.
Made her head hurt because she could hear the crunching. Something crazy.
Yeah, something stupid like that. And they go around, and they see the freezer door open, and look inside, and they see Miriam in the freezer with cocaine under her nose. Greg pulls his gun, Gus pulls his gun, which freaks out Greg a little bit, and then he pulls out his badge as well and reveals he's a DEA agent who's come to shut down the drug conviction.
Oh my God!
And apparently a murder too. And he's like, "Oh my God, Greg was just freaking out." He's like, "I just wanted weed. I didn't, I just wanted to have a nice time.
Wanted some shrooms,
I got
man.
invited to this thing. Somebody at work told me about it. They said, it was be a nice, sort of fun experience. I got it as part of like a corporate, retreat thing. I didn't know, like, what all this would happen to my wife. Like, I didn't expect this. I thought it was just the safe sort of thing to do."
Yeah. Starts crying.
I don't know why they'd kill her. She never does drugs. She didn't even know this was a drug convention. He's like freaking out. He's like, "I should have told her, like I shouldn't have hid it from her." She probably found the drugs and freaked out, and then they killed her because she was freaking out. Aya, Aaron, and Jane Roan show up at the grand dinner. Aya and Aaron went because, like, they thought, like, this is where the drugs are, and Jane Roan went because she saw the flyers and was like, "How dare I'm not invited to this thing? Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
I'm a VIP.
God.
I should be here."
I'm more important than these peasants. Like The Rock.
And she won't sit with anyone else because she's like, "I and Aaron, the other VIPs, so I'm going to go with them." And they go into the dinner, and everyone gets masks, like these masquerade, like sort of Mardi Gras kind of masks.
Okay. And they're probably representative of their characteristics, Like, everybody gets a mask that represents their personality type. Jane gets a snake. Gus gets... Gus isn't at the dinner. Who else is at the dinner?
It's just Aya, Aaron, and Jane. So Aaron has like a sloth. Maybe.
Yeah, or like a tree frog.
Aya has like what's a very athletic animal?
A cheetah.
Like cheetah.
She's running.
And Jane needs like a very
a peacock, because she's always showing off, but she ain't got nothing. There ain't no meat on those bones. Boyo.
We'll go with a lioness.
Okay.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
So we show up at the dinner, provided at the, they get the masks, and they get to their table, but they have like the finest slice of meat they've ever seen, but it's this tiny little morsel. It's so small. It's only like a little tiny bite, and they're like, okay, this is like some sort of like fancy people thing, you know? Like Michelin star restaurants. I don't know if you've ever seen a photo of like the food online, but like
make me so angry.
It's like really small,
It's like $5 to $50 for a bite, or $100 for a bite of meat. And you're like,
but supposedly it's really good. But that's kind of what they think this is. And Aaron is about to eat his, but his hand is stopped by someone else. And he's like, "What are you doing? Like, you have to wait until the reveal." And Aaron's like, "Why do I care?" And he's like, "Well, we have to see who we're eating." And They look over at the central tray as it's lifted, and there's the head of Sean.
I knew it was going to be they were eating Sean Bean. I knew it.
Episode 3.
I was going to suggest that maybe in the freezer, Gus, like, sees Myra's dead body with the cocaine under it, and then, you know, he looks over, and he looks in the corner of the room, and he finds a ring that he saw Sean Bean wearing earlier. And he's like, odd, and he puts it away in his jacket pocket, you know?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know that they're eating Sean Bean. Oh, we should have a pun. It's like, it's a 3 bean soup or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a joke that's on the menu or something like that. It's like, you know.
Something Sydney. Kidney beans.
Kidney beans. Yeah.
Like, this isn't beans, it's meat. Oh, you'll see.
Baked beans.
Baked beans. There you go, baked bean.
Baked bean.
They misspelled beans. It should be beans. No, it's just one bean. They only cooked one.
Just one bean. It's because the portion's so small. Or is it? Episode 3. Gus pulls out his phone after finding Miriam and once again tries to make a call to his department, but it fails. He explains to Greg that, you know, he's been sent here to investigate and then shut down this drug den if that's what it actually was. Tons of police, DEA agents are waiting just outside the island's reach on the coast. And they'll come in if he gives the call. You know, his boss is waiting for it. Brock, we cut to Brock and Jane. Brock runs after Jane, you know, to like try to explain and you know, maybe persuade her that it's okay.
Yeah.
And to find her grabbed by a man in a cloak, you know, with a mask over his head, and she's like a balaclava.
Okay, not the masquerade mask. It's a different mask.
Not a masquerade mask. Like, this is look like a criminal.
Yeah.
And he, like, you know, tries to punch him in the face, but then it gets chloroformed by Tilly Way, the activities director.
Oh, she's evil. We thought she was good. We thought she was just a cheery young lady, but she's evil. And what's Jane's thing again?
Jane Rowe?
Yeah.
She's the fitness influencer.
Okay. Or not Jane. Who's the one that Brock slept with? But
Hannah. She's like the Hermione type.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
Big into literature and stuff.
That makes sense.
Which is kind of why she's getting along so well with Brock, because, you know, he's a musician.
Yeah. He thinks about the lyrics,
you know,
man.
He's into art, you know? He's into art as well, and so is she. You know, it's not all just a face for him. But he gets chloroformed. Back at dinner, Aaron, Jade, and Aya are absolutely horrified. Meanwhile, Mr. Dillon is explaining the diverse menu that they have ahead of them, and hands out photos and bios of all of them, so they see their own photos and bios and, you know, explanations of how their meat might taste, and they're all horrified. Aaron almost vomits. Aya is struggling to contain her emotions, and Jane is the only one that keeps her cool.
Yeah. And
she, like, you know, covers Aaron's mouth. She cools down Aya and pulls them out of there. Gets them out. And they're like, "How did you manage to, you know, keep it together?" And she explains, she's like, I'm so used to smiling all the time for my videos that it actually hurts for me to look disgusted at things.
Yeah.
Now,
maybe she, maybe they have like
my face has been reformed.
They have. I think it would be good if each page of the menu has like their picture and like a little description of their life, age, weight, all this stuff, and they have like a punny thing, right? Like some punny title.
Yeah.
And maybe Gus's could be the
like
rat because they know he's a DEA agent. You know, that's he thinks he's pulled one over on them, but they've actually pulled a double over on him, and he's gonna be the piece de resistance, the rat.
Well, that, you know, it's good you guessed that, because that might be true later. So they get made by some of their guests as they're walking out, because, you know, everyone has pictures of them now. And the rabid guests in masks chase them with forks and knives, trying to tear at their flesh. You know, like they seemed like they were sort of refined cannibals, but upon seeing their food, realizing that they're like the food knows that it's food.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, we gotta kill it now, and now they're screaming out they want it raw. And we cut to, like, as this is happening, instead of seeing this from Aya and Aaron, like we originally see this from Aya, Aaron, and Jane's view, but then we go back and we see Mr. Dillon, and he's chatting with Mr. Cook, and he's like, he's yelling out to the rabid crowd. He's like, I'm pleading with them to be civilized. But he turns to Mr. Cook and expresses his annoyance that, like, we couldn't have a civilized convention for once. Like, we can't just, have the nice meal. They have to just, they want it raw, I guess. All the elites have to stick with the old ways. And he's like, yeah, has Tilly at least got her hands on the other guests before things have gotten, out of hand? He says, yes. And it's like, Mr. Dillon, like, shakes his head, and he's sad because he's hoping to fatten them up a little bit before the big feast. But yes, that Saturday is going to have to come a little earlier.
Oh.
Episode 4. Gus and Greg are carefully going through the halls, but they find blood and a mess of carnage and dead guests and bludgeoned heads, and they're like, what the fuck happened here? Hard cut to Jane Roan bashing some dude's head in with a baseball bat. Which, Aya sees, and she apologizes. She's like, I judged you wrong. Like, I really thought you were just some stuck-up, fitness influencer. And Jane's like, there's more benefits to being, to working out all the time than just being, pretty.
Yeah, fast.
She's like, I guess that's true. And Aya then smashes a dude's head in with her metal leg, like the blade.
I'm assuming, she does a cool, like, roundhouse kick and, like, knocks a guy's head, like, not off, but, like, yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. And they're doing a little girl power situation.
Yeah. And Aaron's there as well. He's swinging a plank randomly. But they're getting overwhelmed by tons of people. They're trying to push out the hallways. Aaron's not quite as fast as Aya and Jane, who are, athletic. And Aaron gets swarmed and eaten alive.
Oh, no, Aaron.
That's poor Aaron. Not the greatest ending for Aaron Serrano.
Yeah, and maybe Aya turns around and it's like, Aaron, no! And Jane's just like, come on, we can't go back for him. She's a cold stone survivor. Stone cold survivor, I should say. Not cold stone. That's a creamery.
Yeah, I like this about Jane, because she seems like she's the most useless. She seems like in the horror movie, she's the first girl to go. But when the situation gets tough, all of a sudden, she's the toughest person there.
Besides, I like that.
Aya as well. They rush outside to find even more, cannibals, and they hop on a golf cart, running over people to escape. Back in the kitchen, Brock and Hannah wake up tied to a butcher's table with Mr. Cook sharpening a knife above them. Hannah freaks out a little bit, not just seeing this as, like, some sort of insanity that all of a sudden she's been, she's on a butcher's table, completely confused now this happened. She somehow sees this as comeuppance for cheating.
Yeah.
And Brock's like, technically I'm the one who cheated, so I don't know what you're freaking out about. This has nothing to do with that. And Mr. Dillon comes in and apologizes for, like, the barbarous nature of all of this. He's like, I originally planned to, kill you all painlessly like Mr. Bean and serve you in a series of intricate, refined dishes, but no, we have no taste here. The crowd has opted for such a barbarous delicacy. I want their meal served alive. And, that is obviously very,
very bad.
Terrible news for Brock and Hannah.
They shouldn't be happy about this.
Nope, no, they're not. Cut to Gus and Greg, who've since run into cannibals. Gus is shooting them. Greg is fighting with like a pipe that he pulled down from the ceiling.
I do like
actually, maybe a golf club.
A golf club would work better for him, because he's like this rich. I'm imagining Greg as being like this rich, not house husband. Like, he's got his own job and stuff, but he's like spending every day. He spends maybe an hour of it working, and then the 23 hours of the rest of the day relaxing and drinking and all this stuff. Yeah. But I do like that
Greg is living the American dream. He's like, he goes plays golf after work. He's a very he lives the white picket fence life.
I do like the what's happened in the show so far is the two characters that you think would be the most useless, right? Gus and Jane. These two, like, one's a scrawny, weenie little dude who's like, I'm throwing up on a boat, and then the other one's like a prissy fitness influencer. You think they'd be the most useless. Turns out they're both, like, survivors, and they're shooting people in the head, bashing people's brains in with baseball bats, and, you know, I like that. That's cool. It's a good switch. It's good.
Yeah, good twist. Because you'd think that Brock and Hannah would be the main characters. Because they've got this relationship thing, and he's like a cool guy.
Yeah, and she's like a
she's
nerdy
like the classic
girl.
female heroine, you know, the nerdy girl.
Finds herself.
Not not like other girls.
Exactly.
You know? So Gus and Greg, you know, they're shooting people up, bashing heads in, and they end up taking out Tilly. You know, Greg smashes her in the face, and she's bleeding, but she's still alive. And she reveals that, you know, Gus is like, you know, where are all the drugs? I can't, like, where are the cartels? Like, I can't believe you'd start killing people like this. You're mad. She's like, this isn't a drug thing. Like, you know, sure, we have drugs here. Yeah, that's part of it, but it's more about the eating. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's like, and she reveals that they're actually cannibals. And that they're the main
Now,
course.
I am imagining Tilly is... Have you ever seen Snowpiercer, the movie? With Chris Evans? You remember that teacher in the movie, the pregnant teacher who's really smiley the whole time, and then she pulls out a machine gun and just starts gunning people down? That's kind of who I'm imagining, is she's super smiley. Like, even when she's running at them with, like, a butcher knife to cut their faces off, she's, like, got this huge grin on her face, and her hair's all done back really tight, you know? Almost, like, painfully so, and then she, like, gets smashed in the face by Greg, and then Gus has his, like, foot over her neck and the gun in her face, and it's like, what's going on? Why are you doing this? What are the cartels having this place? And she's still smiling as she explains that they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be eaten. This has nothing to do with cartels. You know, sure, they do a little business with them from time to time just to, you know, supply their guests with the finest of all amenities, but still. And even, like, Gus then blows her brains out and keeps walking, and she's still got a huge smile on her face.
Still, yeah, maybe just takes out her top of her skull, but there's still a smile.
Yeah.
That'd be fucked up. And this is where you get, like, the final piece. So we've kind of explained it before, but essentially this sort of cannibal cult is like this group of people, this group of elites that meet at these island resorts. It's always the opening weekend, you know, that they have it, and then they eat people, and then you know, the resort closes down. They open another one to sort of hide their trail.
Yeah.
Like, it constantly switches locations, and it's always a different resort, always a different name.
And there's always a tropical storm that destroys, you know, the resort
the communications, you know.
Well, and right after the first...
And that's how they explain that people died, you know. Like, oh, they died in the storm.
Exactly.
But they never stay in the same place, because then you could get, you know, nailed down. Like, oh, people keep missing, like, keep
going missing at this location.
Going missing at this resort. But if it's a different resort every time, it's like, oh, you know, people go missing at resorts.
And maybe they have, like, each year, maybe we can have Tilly explain that they, you know, each year the characters fall into certain, like, categories or stereotypes that our characters are, and they always have, like...
Well, we'll get into that in a minute.
Okay.
We're gonna get, like, the cuisine in a little bit. You know, more cannibals come in after they blow her head off, and they're gonna get overrun. But all of a sudden, Aya and Jane burst through the window in a golf cart, running over them. Aya apologizes, you know, to Jane, because she didn't mean to do that, but she's driving, and, you know, it's her pedal foot that is the one that uses the blade rather than, you know, or like, and it's kind of hard to, it's a little hard to, you know, move between the pedals. So she missed the brake. But I guess it worked out, because they took out some of the cannibals. And they regroup with Greg and Gus. No, it's Greg, Gus, and Aya and Jane. And more cannibals are coming in, and they run out. You know, they continue to fight security and the cannibals until they make it to the docks, where they steal a boat to get off the island. And they get out into the water. Gus wants to leave and get reinforcements, but Aya and Jane want to find Hannah and Brock, and he's like, well, you know, we can't save them. We need backup. Let me call my guys. And so he gets connection out in the water. And this moment, we're like, okay, finally, you know, he's going to get the backup. They're going to come in. They're going to fuck these guys up. He calls the DAA, and attachment's coming to pick him up. His supervising officer shows up, and he's like, Gus, I'm surprised to see you. He's like, what? You know, like, I couldn't call you from the town. He's like, yep. You know, you really shouldn't have kept looking into things. And he darts both Greg and Gus. And Jane and Aya jump in the water to avoid the darts. And he chastises Gus. He's like, yeah, I told you not to bring your gun. I told you you're supposed to stick to the drugs, you know? Once you see him, you take the photos and then bring them back to me after, and then we get it. And I told you not to, you know, push it too far. And you pushed it too far. You couldn't just, you know, stay in your lane. Episode 6. Jane and Aya wash up on the shore, tired and, you know, broken. They're back on the island. No way out. But no one's looking for them now. You know, it's people think they drowned.
Yeah.
You know? So they sneak inside for some food.
Maybe
people food, some snacks. You know, they're making sure they only grab things in prepackaged containers from companies they know, like, you know, chips and stuff.
Maybe
'cause they don't want to risk any sort of meat.
Maybe we can see, like, they dive into the water and the supervising agent fires a couple of darts into them, and we see Aya's leg, like her blade, bobble up, because we'll establish earlier in the series that there's like it's buoyant. There's a flotation thing inside of it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then he like calls in and is like, yeah, sorry, Jane and Aya, they didn't make it. You know.
Oh, that's good.
And then we see they wash up and Aya's missing a leg, but they're like, we're fine, we're okay. And so Jane helps her and gets like a stick and she uses it as a crutch. Yeah.
Again, maybe they get to a room, they get a replacement leg or something, or they make some sort of
something that she can use.
Leg that still could be a weapon, you know, because the leg weapon's cool. You know, they're like, we need to find a way off here. Our only real hope is the DEA guy. Maybe he's got other connections. We need to free him. We can't also leave everyone else. You know, Jane's like, my boyfriend's there, and Aya's like, you know, I feel like, you know, I can't just leave these people. Like, you know, we gotta save them. If we can. And we go to Mr. Dillon presenting the main course for the meal. So we have the, you know, each one has like a special little tagline. It's got like a sort of fancy name next to it. So Hannah probably says like the virgin vanilla cream.
Oh.
It's like we get to eat a young virgin. And Brock's like, wait, you were a virgin? Like, and then, you know, this is kind of annoying to Mr. Dillon because he's like, oh shit, like, you know, we've ruined the.
God damn it, Brock. Your libido ruined our meal.
And we've got Rockstar, who's a druggie and, you know, has sex with a lot of people, so that'll probably be an interesting flavor. We've got the American Dream, that's what they call Greg, you know, tender, you know, beef, grass-fed.
Fatty.
Grass-fed beef flesh, you know, like he's had a lot of good food, very fatty. Then we have Gus, the rat, the Mexican DEA rat, because he's from, his family's from Mexico, he's American.
Yeah.
But this, you know, there's sort of like a racial bend to this. Like, these people want, like, you know, they see this as Mexican because he's in cuisine.
Okay.
You know? Because they're gonna complain. They're like, we had Mexican food last time.
Oh.
We're doing this again.
God, this is so.
It's a very, you know, poor, terrible joke.
Yeah. But that's like the point.
Like disgusting. Yeah. These people are terrible. Obviously, they're eating people.
Yeah, and they're not creative, so they can't think of a better joke than Mexican food again. And everybody laughs, but there's like. And all 4 of the characters who are tied up just groan, and they're like, "Ugh, Jesus, kill me now." Not no, not right now. No, it was a figure of speech. Start with it.
And people are upset because the Paralympian Asian girl and the hot girl are not here. And you're like, well, we really wanted, you know, some hot influencer. Blonde girl flesh,
yes.
And the Paralympian, you know, we wanted to see like what an Olympian tastes like.
And then we have Mr. Beast is in the.
They're really gross and like sort of racist with their descriptions of each person.
Okay.
Like, it is very much like a food, like
food as nationality thing.
They are only food to them. Yeah, food is nationality.
And then maybe we could have Mr. Beast in the background being like, I wanted to take out the competition, cause influencer, he's annoyed.
Yeah, I don't know if we can.
Now we call Mr. Beast. He'd do it.
I don't think he would.
Okay, we'll get a less scrupulous influencer. We'll get Logan Paul to do it.
He wouldn't do it either. But You're really putting them in a bad light. I don't think they do
fuck those people. Go back to this.
Well, but they have to agree to it, Charlie. So you can't say.
Nah,
fuck
we'll
them.
get AI. We'll replace somebody's face.
We can't, because that's defamation. Anyway, but also, like, you're using their image. Anyway, Mr. Dillon apologizes for the lack of extra cuisine. This part's a little rushed because I've been talking a while. But basically, what happens here is we have like the epic, Jane and Aya are in the crowd, and Aya uses her leg to slash the chains, and this is where things get really, really ugly. So like everyone's chained down like on their dishes, right? And this is where they slash the chain and throw them weapons, and it gets into like this brutal Kill Bill style, like katanas and blood everywhere, and it's just complete Quentin Tarantino final bash of fighting. And in it, Greg is eaten alive.
Of course.
Hannah gets stabbed in the throat. Brock gets axed with his own guitar.
Nice.
Aya gets her leg taken off and her skull bashed in. They're all getting eaten.
I thought Aya was gonna make it. I really thought she was gonna make it.
And in the end of it, the only person, but Jane is still fighting. By the end of it, everyone is dead except for Jane and Mr. Dillon. And
what happened to
she
Gus?
grabs her selfie stand, and Gus dies too. Everyone dies. They all die, except for Jane. Jane is the only survivor, and she bashes Mr. Dillon's head in with a selfie stick. And then she walks out into the sunset covered in blood, just completely drenched. Sits down on the steps, sets up a tripod, puts her phone on it, and records it.
Oh my god.
End of show.
Oh my god, okay, that's an ending. That is certainly a dark, dark ending.
Like, it's gonna end with her clicking the button, and then she goes, "Hey guys," and then instantly cut to black.
Good.
Show over.
That's good, I like it.
So that was the Gourmet Hotel and
Resort.
The Gourmet Resort Hotel and Casino.
Yeah, I was thinking of titles, and I think my best one that I've come up with is Of Last Resort. Because it's a resort, but they're also all following to their last resort,
Yeah.
That was one, and then maybe just the Gourmet, the Gourmand. Or something like We Like It Raw. Like they want it raw. Right? Because if
is there another what's the Japanese word, like sushimi?
Sashimi? Yeah, I like that. Sashimi. But I think
if we could do like sashimi in, another S word, sashimi in sanguine sashimi.
What's paradise? Sashimi in paradise.
Sashimi in paradise.
I'm looking at paradise synonyms. Shangri-La. That's not really it. There's not really any that start with S. 20 synonyms and antonyms for paradise. Yeah, no, there's not really anything that starts with S. But I think maybe that phrase that Mr. Dillon keeps repeating. Like we try and be cultured, but we're just so uncivil. They want it the old ways. They want it raw. Because if he says,
that's a great title. They want it raw. I think that's
okay. I like that title. Yeah. All right, that's good. I like it. I like all of this. This is a good show. They want it raw.
Yeah.
Well,
it was a little little quick. Not too many episodes.
Yeah, but that's fine. I imagined each episode's like an hour long.
It's a 6-episode series, short, But each episode, yeah, you're right, is an hour long. It's a what's it called? It's a limited series.
Yeah.
That's the word.
And with a few cuts or a few edits, it could very easily be a movie. Like, you can make that into a 2-hour movie, I think. You just have to remove a few characters, like probably cut out the Brock and Hannah love story and maybe make Jane a little bit more like, maybe if you were gonna do it a movie, Jane would have to be more explicitly the main character, and I think you'd have to make her a bit more likable towards the, like, in the middle section, so that, like, she can see her boyfriend gutted in front of her and then, like, kind of break, right? I think maybe just a bit, like, more of a breakage so that it explains why she's making a vlog covered in people's blood.
I definitely need some work with the character stuff, but I kind of,
I like it, though.
It was kind of like, I like the idea of, like, a resort you get invited to, that you're actually the middle.
That's good. I like it. I like the show a lot.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jake, and thank you, everyone, for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles Long. With me, as always, been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, a follow, subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your cat, and remember, we will be here next week with a brand new televisual series for you to imagine and enjoy as we talk to you about it. And it'll be great. And we promise it'll be probably nicer than the last two that we've done, which have been rather mean at the end.
Yeah. Well, this was,
yeah. But
it's pretty rough at the end. Everyone dies except for the one girl. She does a vlog.
She's fucking crazy by the end of it. Yeah, but I like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only way she could survive is to be an insane person.
And I do like the detail that she, like, it physically hurts her to not smile. She physically...
Yeah, because she smiled for so long.
I like that. All right, thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
Bye.